Hello, my name is Matt Bird, and welcome to the PublishU Podcast, where we feature the real life stories of authors from around the world. Today, I'm delighted to be talking to Stefan Lutz, who's in Nairobi, in Kenya, and he has written an amazing book called Hindsight Journey. Stefan, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt. Good to be here.
It's great to have you here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey before we jump into the journey in the book, Stefan, or maybe the two actually intersect at some point, but introduce yourself.
Yes. Thank you, Matt. It's really good to be here. Thanks for this opportunity. And yeah, it's really an honor and pleasure because I honestly never thought I would get to this point. And I'm positively proud of myself and honored to be here. So the journey of my own life is very complex, multicultural, and expanding many countries. I was born and grew up in Honduras, Central America, and ended up finishing my high school there. Then I went to university in Germany, where I lived for 10 years. Then I ended up in West Africa, working there in a country called Mali. Went back home to Honduras for to do some rehabilitation work, humanitarian work there, and then ended up in Kenya for the last 25 years.
Wow.
And I'm an agriculturalist. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you said I mean, you said that very casually. You ended up in Kenya for 25 years. How does one end up in Kenya for 25 years?
It ends basically because this is an amazing country, a wonderful country, wonderful people, wonderful landscape, wonderful vibes, I always say. And I just fell in love with this country from day one. And I was actually only going to be here with my wife. We came as interns or during internship for 2 years.
Yeah.
And we just learned the language, the local Swahili language, and we loved the everything about this country, especially the people. The job was very fulfilling, the assignment, and it was just beautiful. And I was like, why wouldn't you want to be here and stay here for most of your life? So, and then we had children, two beautiful sons, and family, and it was a great place to also have a family. And so it was overall just amazing. Yeah,
Mm.
that's how you end up in Kenya for 25 years.
Wow. Go on a 2-year internship and end up staying for 25.
Yeah,
And you were just
exactly.
about to say you're an agriculturalist.
I actually started out in food technology, and I switched my career. I wanted to be a brewmaster like my dad. My dad brewed beer for his whole life, and I just wasn't what I really wanted to do. I figured that out in the process, and then I changed to agriculture, specifically international tropical and subtropical agriculture, because I wanted to go to developing countries, tropical countries, Latin America, Africa, or Asia, and just help out where I can in terms of producing better food in an ecological sensitive way and help especially small farmers who are struggling. So
Mm.
that was my passion and my love. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. And so when did you first think, I'd like to write a book? I mean, when did that thought first struck you?
So Matt, it's a good question. I actually have been keeping a journal, uh, a personal journal, quite personal actually, for the last 20 years, if I
Yeah.
may. Started, yeah, around when I was 30, so that's about 25 years ago actually. And I just love the fact of writing. I had an inspiration from another person from the US who is actually an author, a writer. And she always says, Stefan, you should write. You should just keep a journal and start there. And that gave me that planted a seed in me. And I didn't write consistently, consecutively, but I would say maybe once a month. I would just go into that journal and start writing about that month. Or when I had some kind of a breakthrough where I say, oh, I need to write this, whether it's spiritual, whether it's a trauma, whether it's good news, a celebration. and challenges as well, from challenges of my marriage, challenges of parenting, friendship, relationship challenges. So I just thought, let me write those things, and so that's where I thought to myself, it would be nice to one day. It wasn't probably till the last 5 years where I thought I wouldn't mind having a book, and I actually even considered taking a sabbatical from my job, from my work, for about 6 months to do that. But work was just so much, and it just didn't work out. Didn't work
Yeah.
out. So what happened is that I lost my job last year in August, and I said, this is it. This is the opportunity to first of all grieve my job loss, because I loved my work for 25 years, and I needed some time to just grieve that. But after that, I thought, what an amazing chance to do a reflective process and write a book.
Mm.
I didn't think about publishing at that time. I really, actually, you were one of the people who encouraged me to do that. And I saw a lot of sense in it, especially promoting my consulting company. But initially, it was really just, let me write just to write, and I said, why not? And I need help because I don't know where to start. I honestly didn't know where to start. And do I just write? How do I start? How do I, what do I write about? How long? And so I really wasn't, when you and I were in touch and you told me that this is the time and you encouraged me, I said, let me do this for now. So that's the journey to where I'm right now.
Mm. And what would you say is the most significant obstacle you had to overcome, and how did you overcome it?
Ooh, there's many, but the biggest one is probably, Matt, the commitment to consistently write. Because what happens is writing is very mentally and emotionally draining. It's
Yeah.
it is reflective, it is beautiful in many ways, but it's also very draining. And you have to stay on top of it. You have to really tell yourself, I'm going to write every day, even if it's an hour, which is what I did. I
Yeah.
couldn't really write more than an hour. It was hard. Sometimes I got excited and inspired, and I would write an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, next day I'm writing only half an hour because I'm really tired. So it is really that consistency, even when you're tired, just tell yourself, just write whatever. And like you always told us, write it down. Don't worry about editing. Don't worry about, just keep writing, keep putting those thoughts. Some days will be good, some days will be less good. And that's what I did. And luckily, we were in that course that gave us a 2-week break over Christmas.
Oh, yes.
So I actually took a 4-week break, to be honest, and it was not. But I guess I needed that, and also my boys were back home. But yeah, just consistently be at it was probably the greatest challenge, because there was times where I was like, I can't do this anymore. And to
Yeah.
be very honest, I was about to quit about once or twice, where I said, I just can't do this. But I'm so glad I didn't.
What was it that kept you going when you felt like quitting those couple of times?
I think I know it's I had put so much into this already, so much emotion, so much mental, so much of myself, in many ways, that this is something I wanted to do. And no matter how hard it was, no matter how long it would take, I'm going to finish this. So I think just the fact that I had done already so much, the quitting, I didn't really think about it that deeply, but I thought at some point I just need more time. Maybe let me just take time because I can't do this. But I'm like, let me do it. And one thing you said, Matt, was really interesting. Actually, very changing for me, and that is when you said, if you want to now to go into consulting, and this book is going to be something that will help you for your consulting, it's better to just finish now, because if you get into your consulting work, it's going to be even harder to write because you will have too much distraction with your consulting. And that's what's happening. I am getting more consulting work, and I'm thought, let me just finish for now. Let me use this book as a great marketing tool. And then,
Yeah. And
that was just, that motivated me. I said, let
yeah.
me just finish it. Yeah.
Yeah, it keeps you going. I'd love to come back to that a little bit later, but coming onto your book, uh, Hindsight Journey. What is the heart of your book about?
So the heart of my book, Matt, is nowadays it's a very professional, it's definitely not personal. Like I said, I wanted to write a personal book. This is maybe that'll be in the future, but for now, it's a very professionally focused book on my career, on what I saw during my 25 years, actually more than 25 years working with nonprofit work in Honduras, Mali, and Kenya. I realized that there's a lot of good things to celebrate, a lot of good things that nonprofits do, but I also realize there's a lot of, let me say, not so good things that are happening, not so good attitudes, not so good power struggles, not so good prescriptive development issues, because development is not meant to be prescriptive. We're not supposed to go and tell people what to do. People are supposed to tell us what they would like to do, and we accompany them in that journey. And
Yeah.
I've seen it over and over again where there's top down, there's paternalistic, whatever you want to call it, non participatory development happening. And I really felt passionate about writing about that because, as I wrote in my book, actually in the back cover, is like if we don't learn from our mistakes, we will repeat them. So I
Mm,
thought, let me just have the boldness and courage to mention these things so that whoever goes in it or is already in it or wants to reflect on some of these issues can read that and say, oh, maybe I should rethink a
mm,
little bit about how development should be done. So that was my humble
mm.
contribution that I wanted to make to the development world from my perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you've written a book about community development and obviously the consulting work you are now doing off the back of the book is in that space as well.
Yes, correctly. So it's basically, some of the lessons I've learned over the years, some of the things that I celebrated, some of the things that I've learned, some of the things I would do differently, and
Mm,
some of the things I would like to offer in my new consultancy in a
sure.
different way to people. Yes,
Mm, amazing.
that is
And what would you say are the three key services that your um, community development consultancy is offering? If people are
true.
listening and they're curious and thinking, wow, Stefan has got decades of experience across multiple cultures, multiple countries. I might be interested in talking to him. Just give us, what are the three key areas that you advise on?
Sure. So one of the areas is that aspect of participatory, dignified development. Where we just help you understand that community, look at your project, look at your programs that you want to do, or the organizational capacity that you want to give, anything concerning development. And instead of coming with a prescribed notion, with a prescribed way, already planned, done in the US, Europe, or whatever, can we think about maybe asking people, doing research, doing surveys, meeting people in the community and find out what do they want to do. And then through their action plans, we now come up with a program with them, not for them. It's really with them that we do. So that's
Yeah.
one aspect that I feel very strong. The other aspect, of course, is my technical expertise, which is agriculture. I've been working with small farmers, hundreds of thousands of them, you know, um, for years. So I would like that experience. I would like to bring that to people in terms of if there's an agricultural project, if there's somebody who wants to start a farm, to help them out with better harvests and better soil, improve their soil fertility, their ecology, and overall just be a better farmer. and both from the ecological and the economic side. And then there's the aspect of networking that I'm also very passionate about. I have started networks in one of my chapters. Actually, the book is about networks. I have started networks, co-founded networks, founded networks in Kenya, and also actually in Germany before I came. And I've always been very excited, interested, and willing to promote what we call collaboration, because I feel like people coming in this field, and not just this field, but in business or anywhere, as you probably know, the more minds come together, the more we collaborate, the more we exchange, the more we share, the more effective it can be. It might sound counterproductive because you say, no, I don't want to share because there's competition and everything. Competition will always be there. But if we collaborate wisely, and we come together and we share the challenges and the cheers that we're going through, actually it's going to help us all. It's a win-win. Collaboration is always a win-win. So I would help networks, and other, consortiums, community of practices, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
People want to come together. I'll help them to think about things. And for me, just real quick, a network is really one that is committed. It doesn't actually have to be money. People think it's always about money, but it's really more about willingness, commitment, and finding value in that network.
Mm.
So those are the three aspects that I've been consulting, and I
Yeah.
would like to continue consulting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for that.
Well, those are great hopes to have for your book and for the services you're offering. And Stefan, I want to thank you for joining us today, and thank you all for listening to the PublishU podcast, where we feature the genuinely real life stories of authors from around the world. If you're interested in becoming an author like Stefan, please do visit our website, publishu.com, publishu.com. And if you enjoyed this broadcast, make sure you subscribe for more. And thank you all for listening, and goodbye for now.